Well, Assassin's Creed is getting a movie finally.
Coming out this December.
Yeah, quite a
20th Century Fox.
I know, weird, right? It's like, I could have foreseen a movie happening.
I asked for this?
No.
Sorry. Assassin's Creed, the movie's coming. I asked for this?
Well, not a video game movie I would have liked to have seen, but
Go ahead.
it's a video game movie I foresaw or could have seen coming as a movie, but I think it really missed its mark. Like, they should have did this back when Assassin's Creed was really popular.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed has kind of a...
Fallen off its pedestal.
fallen off its praise. Now, here's full disclosure. When it comes to my personal experience with the Assassin's Creed series, the only game I've really played through is Black Flag. I've watched Will play a little bit of Unity, so I don't really know any of the previous... I don't have a really hard connection to many of the previous games, but I've heard Will discuss the story with me many a time.
Yeah, and for those who are interested in my
Will
experience,
praised it so much for a moment there, I thought he thought this game was better than Tales of Eternia.
No.
I mean, that's how much he loved this thing.
No, I came into the series with Assassin's Creed 2, which a lot of people argue is the better way to do it. Mm-hmm. Then I followed Assassin's Creed 2 into Assassin's Creed Brotherhood of Gaming. No. Then after Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood... No. It was Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed... Actually, you know what? I was right. It was Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Then I think after that one, it was Assassin's Creed Revelation.
Okay.
And, those three games followed Ezio's story, Ezio Auditore. And a lot of people really love that character because you see the entire events of his life from when he was an 18-year-old, learning about his abilities and the whole assassin lineage thing, all the way to his elder age, where he looked like he was in his 70s and still doing this. So, yeah. And then after that, I played Assassin's Creed 3, which was really disappointing because I was looking forward to it, and I know a lot of us were. We were looking forward to an Assassin's Creed game that dealt on the Civil War and George Washington, and yeah, everybody wanted a game where you could go around with George Washington and Paul, and the British are coming in and experience the events of the Boston Tea Party. But unfortunately, Assassin's Creed 3 was just very boring. There wasn't a lot to do in that game. And then Assassin's Creed Black Flag came out, and that one was interesting to you. I don't know.
It was a pirate game. That's why I liked it.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Fiddly-dee. So I can understand if, people like you or other people didn't like it. So I understand.
Yeah, because at that point, we were so used to cities and buildings we could climb and jump off of and do all sorts of amazing things, and when all of a sudden we got to Black Flag and there was nothing but small villages and open seas with not much to do except hear sea shanties, oh god.
And there's me over here just like, I've always considered myself the unpopular opinion guy, or because I've never been into popular things that people like, and things other people that don't like I do like. So everyone's bitching and complaining about Black Flag, and here I am just saying like, oh, it's a pirate game, woohoo, this is great.
And for some reason, didn't really get into Wind Waker.
Well, that was... I never got... Well, because I never got a GameCube, but whatever.
Yeah, so interestingly, you'd be driving around in that big Assassin's Creed boat, and I'd be sailing around in that small-ass red lion boat. Oh, yeah, but of course, we can't forget the funniest glitch in Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which was... Black Flag. Black Flag was the ship, like the Rapture.
Right, the Rapture. So, Assassin's Creed the movie.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for it.
Yeah, it has a big name actor in it with Michael Fassbender, which is good, and Jeremy Irons is in it as well. Honestly, I just found myself not very, very underwhelmed by it. And you said something right off the bat that I felt wasn't exactly a great compliment.
It looks fan made.
It looks fan made. All due respect to fan made stuff, but yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Like, I remember quite a few years ago when they released that Legend of Zelda movie trailer.
Yes. Oh, that looked better than this.
I know, and like, and how mad everybody was.
It was like IGN or something that released like a Legend of Zelda April Fool's trailer. Like a Legend of Zelda movie was coming, and it looked so good. I don't know. It just looked very underwhelming to me, and to me, honestly, it looked like something from the Sci-Fi Channel. And if I didn't know anything about Assassin's Creed, and I don't really know that much, if I was completely unfamiliar with it, I would look at this and I'd be like, "What the hell's going on here?" I mean, like this.
It looks like one of those series like The Walking Dead, where like the same kind of funding.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Into the Badlands or something.
Right, and I'm just looking at this. I'm just like, I don't know, and there's nothing in there that was all that appealing. I thought the it looked kind of dark, like when they see these armies coming at each other, and just everything looks brown, and so it just didn't look very appealing to me on a visual standpoint. There was a lot of jumping around, so at least they got that part right.
Oh yeah, they got all the parkour, they got all the traditional video game mechanics.
But at the same time, Bill, it kind of looks like every run-of-the-mill action movie nowadays. They have that kind of, slow motion, speed up kind of, brown cinematic look to it, which is, it's kind of like that we're copying Christopher Nolan kind of vibe. And this is just me criticizing the trailer, but one thing I really did not like was them using a Kanye West song in it.
Oh, yeah.
It just seemed like really out of place. It's like, you can almost tell like this is like 20th Century Fox saying, well, we gotta find some way to get this to appeal to the casuals, so let's put in Kanye West. He's popular, right? So
No.
So let's put one of his pop songs in there. It's like, I don't know. It's just, it's one of those things that I don't know if people are going to get, and I just think it's going to be another one of those misfires. It's going to be right next to Ratchet and Clank, basically. I just don't see this really connecting.
Yeah, and the bad part about this is when movies like this don't do well, that gives ammunition to movie makers saying, see, we shouldn't be making video game movies because nobody comes to see this stuff.
Well, video game movies have never really done on that well as a whole. I mean, you've had the,
Well, Tomb Raider did.
You've had Mortal Kombat, the original Mortal Kombat that was good, the original Tomb Raider, and you've had the Resident Evil series, and they have done well, but even those films are not really highly regarded outside the in the mainstream, and I guess it's one of those things that's very difficult to make a full motion picture based on a video game. You have to be really specific about the one, like we have that one coming out based on Warcraft.
Yeah.
I don't know about that
franchise that's an MMO that doesn't really have a set story, but it has a world that's established, so you can just kind of take the creatures and make up your own story.
I guess it's just I'm looking at this from a casual. If I'm a casual and I don't know anything about games, can I get into this? And
another movie like Angry Birds, an otherwise plotless game franchise, you can just add something to it and it works.
At least people know what Angry Birds is because it's a cell phone game. If you have to be really specific or really careful when it comes to certain types of, like if they wanted to make an Uncharted movie, cool. That's very straightforward, If they wanted to make a Devil May Cry movie, again, I think that's kind of straightforward. When you're getting to something like Assassin's Creed, which deals with like science and time travel and like not really time travel, but all that, going into the mind of the past or whatever.
Yeah, it feels like they're better off not making video game movies about video games that have arcing stories. Like, for example, Metal Gear Solid. Probably not. Oh my
god, that would be a nightmare.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid. Probably not the best example of a game that should be turned into a movie because it's just, which is weird to say because it's constructed to be like a movie because that's exactly what Kojima wanted to be. He wanted to be a filmmaker before a video game developer, and he tried to establish a filmmaking style into video games, and it did work.
Right.
Whether it's good or not is really up for debate and irrelevant considering how well it received it is. But yeah, that's just
And
taking
you get
a very confusing series like Metal Gear Solid really would be next to impossible to incorporate into a 2 to 3 hour film, especially if you were following even one game. The one I'd say you have a chance if you were going to make a Metal Gear Solid movie, it better be Snake Eater.
right. That makes sense. But yeah, I gotta give Hollywood credit because they keep trying to make these films, like by a hell of high water. Again, you look at well, we have a Tomb Raider reboot coming out, and the new Lara Croft has been cast. Of course, it's based on the 2013 film game, but the game kind of feels like a film. You know, you can feel okay. This can be easily translated, you know, to the big screen.
Yeah.
Certain things, other games though, try to squeeze that into a 2 hour narrative is going to be impossible to do without confusing the hell out of everybody.
Probably.
Right.
So on top of that, so making video games, movies out of video games that have overarching stories that go beyond one game, not a good idea. Also, not a video game that has a plot that stretches really far.
You want casual people to look at a trailer and say, okay, I can get this. I can watch this for 2 hours. Not look at a trailer and say, this is horseshit. What the what is this?
So, like you said, Uncharted, an example of a movie game, of a game that could be made into a movie because each game is focused on a single story. Street Fighter is another example of a story that could be made into a movie because it's a fighting game and its plot is very kind of out in the open.
Right.
And you could focus on one character and give them a good story. Has yet to happen, but it could.
Right.
Let's say I'm trying to think of other game franchises. I know there's a ton of them. I firmly believe you probably could make a Mega Man X movie.
Well, we talked about earlier, Legend of Zelda.
A Legend of Zelda movie. You'd have to do that one like Lord of the Rings, honestly.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, Legend of Zelda, it could be made into a movie, and it could work because the Legend of Zelda is a well-established franchise. Like going back to Teens React for a second when they were like, Legend of Zelda, what's that? And you're just calling, like, all of a sudden it became like wrestling, where it's like the sudden realization that this is fake because there's no way.
They don't know.
There's no way you don't know what the hell the Legend of Zelda is.
Right.
So yeah, a Legend of Zelda movie or movies definitely could work, but I would heavily insist that they played it on the safe side and went the Lord of the Rings route with it, where it's a continuous story that ends on a satisfying conclusion on the first one, but you know there's more story to tell. Yeah, like you could do the Ocarina of Time story. You don't necessarily have to do a kid arc, like how the game has it. Like I thought about it, like okay, they could have Link locked away for 7 years in the Temple of Time, maybe for training purposes to handle the Master Sword. That could work.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, and that's another thing we got coming. We got a Mega Man movie that's supposed to be coming out from 20th Century Fox, aren't we? It's like, yeah. I was like, how the hell is that gonna work?
Oh God.
We'll have to wait and see.
After Fantastic Four, I don't want them.
Whatever happened to that Sly Cooper movie?
Oh, the one starring not Kevin Miller?
Yeah, him.
Never heard of it again. We saw the first trailer and never saw from it again. I guess it's sitting on one of those back burners waiting for a green light.
Yeah. So there are games out there that can translate well. It's just that you have to be really picky about the ones. And if you do it, you have to try to stay true to the games, but also make it accessible for the people who aren't familiar with the games at all.
In fact, honestly, I'd say Sly Cooper now lost its chances at becoming a movie with the very, very poor reception for Ratchet and Clank.
Right.
Because that tried to fit everything that Ratchet and Clank is into one story, which
can't do it.
Yeah, which I heard all around was bland and boring anyway. Yeah, you pretty much killed any mascot's chance to become a film after that.
So don't hold your breath for the Jack and Daxter movie or the.
No. If anything, Kevin Miller might be happy that his role as Sly Cooper
is safe.
It's currently safe.
Now, I will say this. Hollywood should give us a call, because I'm telling you, Bill, we can write a Tales of Eternia movie.
Oh, yeah. I could
3 parts, like Lord of the Rings. We could do it.
Yeah.
I've had this movie mapped out in my head for 10 years.
Yeah, I'd be able to write this movie. Mm-hmm. Let's think about that for a second.
We would be able to write the movie.
Okay, yeah, we. I'll have you get coffee. No, I'm kidding. Like, all right, let's think about this.
I'll write my own script and sell it to them.
Who would we cast? Like, since this is a topic about video game movies,
I don't know. It would be some young. I'd cast some young, unknown actors and just go with that. And for the, like supporting roles, I would try to cast some more.
Liam Neeson as Ras.
Yeah, those kind of people. You know. But I just have some rules though. The Inferians would be white, played by white actors. All the Celestians would be played by black actors.
Pushing the controversy, but yeah, I love it.
Because that's important to the plot.
Yeah, it is. It is.
That's important to the plot.
They also have to have stones on their heads.
Yes.
Ilaris.
Mm-hmm. And I would, hire maybe what's her name from the chick who played maybe Rosario Dawson or something as Chazelle, or Angela Bassett, or Halle Berry.
Halle Berry as Chazelle. Honestly, that could work.
She's an Academy Award-winning actress. She could do it.
That's actually not a bad choice.
But Lear is dead.
Halle Berry as Chazelle. Yeah, that would work, actually.
Yeah. So, that'd be fun.
If I were writing it, I would probably also try to find a way to make Regulus part of the plot, because there was a point in there where Regulus was also taken over by Nereid, and I would kind of have Nereid bring both Regulus and Chazelle out at the end, so we can find out what happened to both of them.
Okay. I would just kind of stay. I wouldn't stray too far away from the main group. So, but yeah, I guess you can work that in. Here we are discussing a film that's never going to be made.
I know. We can dream.
You're not going to take our dreams from us, are you? So in the end, that's our thoughts. Assassin's Creed.
I guess we're kind of contractually obligated to see all video game movies. Well,
hey, man, we saw Legend of Chun-Li in the theater, and I can't believe we did that, man.
I was so lost in that movie. Like, I'm like, we're following these two cops, and like one was Charlie, I think, and
yes.
And the other girl was apparently Crimson Viper. I
yes!
had no idea who that was. I'm like, that was Sea Viper? Are serious? I didn't know that. She looks
here I am being all ignorant. I'm thinking, okay, this could be like a Street Fighter series. We're gonna do a Chun-Li movie, then we're gonna do a Guile movie, then we're gonna do a Ryu and Ken movie, and then we're gonna have like an Avengers type thing where we bring them all in and we fight M. Bison in the end, which would have been awesome. But no,
that might have been their plan.
I have no idea. I was like, what? Jeez. I remember it was like early in the morning. You and I are the only people there to see Chun-Li. There's a line of people, but they were there. There were young girls, and they were there for the Jonas Brothers movie. We probably should have saw that one. Probably would have been better.
So yeah, video game movies, they can work with the right directors, with the right writers, with the proper care and respect. Unfortunately, without the people behind the games themselves being involved with the film, it's really hard to have that respect and loyalty put onto the screen.